Do you want the top 8 necklaces? Jess has it. And Tyler's. Okay. I'll leave the top 8 necklaces here.
Alright, looks like our players have kept some hands.
So both players have decided to keep their original 7s. There was a joke before about them not liking Justin's choice of only 3 visionaries. Ironically, Justin has all 3 in his opening hand. So Justin's looking at Collected Company, 3 visionaries, Polluted Delta, Evolving Wilds, and another Polluted Delta. Tyler has a Shambling Vent, Monastery Mentor. Flooded Strand, Jay's Friend's Prodigy, a nice Alpha Island, Painful Truths, and a card that I've written down that I can't read. I feel like we're doing good in that regard.
Okay, so this is one of those sort of speculative hands for the rally deck where it's sort of like a multiple Gataxian probe hand in an older format like Modern. You don't quite know what you have because you have some 1/1s that cycle.
He looks like he's trying to rally the ancestors, so he's on the way to sculpting a hand.
Definitely. Interestingly, I'm looking at his deck list here and he has 1 copy of Ailey Eternal Pilgrim. So
I actually really like that card in this deck. Less so in the control matchup, of course. But as always, it's a great value card.
Definitely. An extra sack outlet is always nice. And if you ever get to actually activate the second ability, go up to 30 life, it seems difficult to lose, I think.
I honestly have no idea what I've written down here in Tyler's opening hand. It says Starin. If you can make any sense of that, it would be greatly appreciated. Because I have absolutely nothing.
Stream, but,
Oh, it is. Prairie Stream. Well done, Daniel. You know me better than I do.
So Tyler just keeping up with his average of playing a turn 2 Prodigy, Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Turn 2 every single game. It's going to be pretty good in this one as well, I think. It'll be interesting to see if he just runs out the Mentor here and tries to accrue as much value as possible.
So we've been through Tyler's deck list, having a look through Justin's. Some weird things. I absolutely agree with the Elvish Visionary. Only 3. 1 Ailey, 3 Grim Harry specs, sure. He's only playing 3 Reflector Mage, which I think is a bit of a meta call as opposed to an overall deck choice. He does play 4 Arishan Cleric. He was expecting the red decks.
It is one of the worst matchups for Rally the Ancestors.
He has one of the most interesting rally sideboards we've actually seen today. He plays a combination of 1 Fleshbag Marauder, 1 Merciless Executioner, as I said, with the 4 Arishan Cleric, 3 Anafenza the Foremost, 1 Dispel. That's very interesting. It will not pay him off in this matchup, unfortunately, but it did improve his deck against the wider field that we saw today. It's also got a Calatus, Traitor of Get. I'm going to pull up some Oracle text on that.
Well, that's basically it's a 3/4 lifelink, I believe, and it has an ability very similar to Anafenza's. It's going to exile creatures from opposing graveyards when they die, or instead of them dying, and then you get a 2/2 zombie, and then he can sacrifice zombies to give himself counters.
The lifelink guy, is that? Yeah. I played against that today. The first, I guess, search result that popped up on Google for me was Calatus Trader of Get, the EDH deck.
Yeah, it does seem like it would be quite good in EDH. We do know that you're a lover of EDH.
Absolutely, I love casual formats.
Interestingly, Tyler did go for the Monastery Mentor, but he got punished by a Reflector Mage out of Justin.
He does play one in the main board.
Yeah, Justin deciding not to go for the company.
I mean, the reflective age at the moment is letting him. It's given him a larger, I guess, immediate board presence in terms of getting across damage. He obviously feels the collected company can wait until Tyler taps out for a dragon. Whether or not Tyler chooses to do so, we don't know.
There's also a real risk if you leave the mentor there that your visionaries can never attack again.
Yeah. Even if he does Coco, without the immediate ability to go off and have anything worthwhile, Tyler can just untap and Crux of Fate him.
That's true.
I mean, Justin has the possibility of going untap Rally the Ancestors, but I don't think he needs to Coco. It's a value card, and at the moment he doesn't need value. He's got enough to let Tyler play some cleanup for a while. And it's moments like these where I wish we could get Godless Shrine. It'd be nice to have the additional white and black source.
Yeah, I think overall Justin's deck would win out on that.
On the ability to play Shocklands?
Yeah, I
100% agree.
He'd quite like to be able to go and get an Overgrown too.
I think that would make this deck a little overpowered.
Maybe.
Is that sarcasm I detect?
It's interesting that he's only running 3 copies of Catacomb Sifter.
Justin seems to like 3 ofs.
He does. Catacomb Sifter just being one of the better creatures in terms of the sort of combo kill. With Zulabor Cutthroat and a Sacrifice out.
Scry most of your deck.
Yeah, and just chain those rallies together.
I have no idea what deck I was on this one time, but I was more scared of a Grim Harry Specs than I was of a Nantuko Husk.
Fair enough. Presumably a deck that cared about cards in hand quite a lot.
Value.
And there's the company.
Does Tyler have any permission in his hand? That looks to be a Cylinder Scorn.
Yeah, I believe he has a Scorn with...
Justin is representing Dispel very strongly here.
Yeah, I believe he's
I don't believe he, however, has it.
I believe he was hoping that Tyler might pay him for that, but...
Tyler has to go for it. I mean, company is enough value that you would have to try. Sometimes all you can do is try.
Especially at the end of turn there.
Yeah.
I think if it had been on Justin's main phase, he could have. There's more room for him to not counter, but...
Having a look at Tyler's hand, his hand looks to be things like some dragons and a dig through time. Very few of those cards are going to answer something happening in Justin's main phase, apart from the Cylinder Scorn anyway. Company is one of the best cards you can be hitting. There's a Mentor, a Dig Through Time, and a lot of things to make me dizzy. Oh, Painful Truths, sure. So he's representing something and hoping to dig.
The Harrisburgs that Justin just played, though, could be quite interesting because it makes all of Tyler's removal a whole lot worse.
Tyler doesn't want to have much removal, unfortunately. Unlike the match we saw a couple of games ago with Tyler and Rob, this looks to be more leaning towards Justin's side. Should Tyler rack the board or deal with most of Justin's creatures, Justin's going to reload his hand and redeploy very quickly.
It does seem that way because...
So, 2 Dragonlord Cylinders, a Jace and a Polluted Delta, Prairie Stream, Flooded Strand, and something else.
A swamp, I think. sacking a Dragon Lord Cylinder and a land, I think. It might have been. Yes, the Prairie Stream. So presumably...
It's better than taking 2 Dragon Lord Stormgers, I'd say.
Probably.
I don't know, Dragon Lord Stormgar, take the Grim Harry specs.
Yeah, I think that's going to be his line here.
Yeah, but doing that just gives Justin all the ability in the world to do whatever he wants on his main phase.
It does, but...
Until then, the 1/1s will come beating in. Oh, okay, so he goes for an Ojitai instead. Yeah, it's not the worst.
It definitely gets blown out a whole lot less by a guy bounce your Dragon Lord. Get in there.
Can't replay it. Have another Reflector Mage. Get my guy back. I'd be interested to see if Justin brought in his Murderous cards. All 2 of them. Or whether he will be bringing them in. Nah, unfortunately, I've just been told it's still game 1 and I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
It's interesting that up until this point, Justin's really been able to keep things moving without a sacrifice outlet, but we're really starting to hit that point in the game where he's going to need that sacrifice outlet to keep things rolling.
Or Tyler's just going to do the work for him. He found half a sacrifice outlet.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's 1 mana draw a card in this instance. He might sack a Visionary, but I can't see it. Can't see him sacking something with power.
Yeah, he's sacking it to itself to bounce the Visionary, so...
Value.
That is the literal definition of value.
I guess this is why he's playing 3 Elvish Visionaries and not 4.
And replaying the Visionary.
Draw 2, drawing 2 cards off that sequence.
Yeah.
Makes his land drop.
He kind of built his own divination.
It's a bit DIY.
Oh, and just going for the company here.
Tyler's got to have Dispel. Like that's basically it. Tyler plays 0 Dispels in the main as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, he's opted for Duress instead, it looks like.
Yeah, so he's playing the extra Duress. Unfortunately, he's not getting paid for that this time around. That is a Nantuk Husk. And there's a Jace. And I believe the rest are lands. And a Rally. So I think he's found his sack outlet.
I think he has.
And, Tyler is, a 4 mana spell hitting like that, or just hitting a sack outlet. Tyler is going to have a very tough time winning this game.
He didn't get the complete rub-ins of hitting the Nintugo Husk plus
Cutthroat.
Plus one of the Edict guys,
Yeah.
the Flashback Marauder.
Oh, okay,
to kill
sure.
your dragon.
Sure.
But Jace does get the value of going back for another company. That is one of the best feelings in the world.
It is. Tyler's just drawn another Ojitai. Not a great feeling for him. He's stuck with 3 dragons in hand. Anything that Dragon Lord Silumga targets can just be sacked to Husk. Husk can sack to itself. I think the best target at the moment with Dragon Lord Silumga is Jace, because it prevents him from flashing back a Coco if possible, or a Grim Harry specs. Either way, not great for options.
I think you have to hit the Harry specs, otherwise all of your removal...
Yeah, that is true. I could see either Harry specs or Jace.
The issue is, I think, if you tap out to play the Dragon Lord and don't target the Harrispex, there's a very real chance that Justin just goes for it, and...
I think if you're tapping out to play Dragon Lord, Justin just tries to go for it anyway and just draws like 5 cards. And then flashes back Coco.
That's the issue, I think. So he gets so heavily paid for trying to, I think.
There's very few things that Tyler can be doing here. I think he needs a hard wrath at this point. and just takes the risk of Justin drawing a whole bunch of cards. It's not putting him in a great position, but I don't think he's in a much better one now. So
It's very true.
he can definitely win the game, but it's going to be an uphill battle. Luckily, these are untimed, and maybe he'll just play the Monastery Mentor.
Sure. Yeah, play the
So it's a Murderous Cut and 3 dragons in hand. Sorry, 2 dragons. Murderous Cut, dig, painful truths. Oh, he's just going for it. Let's hope he remembers his trigger. He does. And there is a Justin Bieber token. Tyler is bringing it back.
I was wondering who that was.
That is Justin Bieber. It is not from
It's
his...
just the Biebs.
It's just the Biebs, you know. If anything is going to get him there in this match, it's going to be the Biebs.
Keeping it swaggy.
Keeping
That's
it
what we
swaggy,
like to see.
yeah. Well, I mean, you know Tyler. It's
Tyler does like to keep it swaggy. That's very true.
Get me some of those tokens. Get them signed by Tyler. Maybe he'll let me borrow them sometime. Thanks, Tyler. Showing us his hand.
I'll be interested to see what Juzza tries to do this turn. Because he...
Literally has everything.
Yeah, he has basically been told by Tyler, you can do whatever you like on this one turn. Please don't kill me.
Please not to kill.
Because they do have deck lists. Justin is aware that
Tyler has no 1-mana
does
interaction.
not have Dispel.
He has Murderous Cut in this case.
Yeah, but
If
he
he
has 3... Oh, right,
Fetch.
he fetches and then...
Yeah. He can fetch and cast it.
So he has 1 piece of interaction. So he can't die to the husk, I guess.
But if you're killing the husk in this instance, are you really...
I mean, you're just buying time. Which
Jace
is all he
is
really
here.
needs.
Jace is deciding what to do.
I mean, Justin is only on 11.
Tyler's only on 6.
I'm aware. I'm aware of this, but...
So I think if Justin tries to Coco, Tyler just cuts the husk in response.
I think he has to.
So Justin looks to be flashing back Coco. Quick shout out to Justin's playmat though, it's pretty sweet.
What actually is that?
I believe it's a tiger. I might be wrong. It's one of the GP playmats.
Fair enough. Okay, so we've targeted
Collected
Coco.
company. Tyler is deciding whether to go for it and
Deep in the deck.
doing some maths. Let's see if he runs the numbers. He's going to 5. He'll have 3 creatures on board if he remembers everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Justin has 5 creatures on board. So Justin has to hit a sack outlet and a drainer to win on this turn. Let's see what Justin does. I'd just let it die, but I have never played this deck before.
It's really going to depend what he has in hand. Because he has already tapped his mana, Tyler let him actually cast
it.
the Collected Company. He's basically
He
locked
had
out
to.
of Rally.
If he responds to
the target,
to
yeah.
targeting,
I agree.
either that or Justin has floated 4 mana.
Which would be an interesting interesting distinction.
I mean, I think I've told you about this. I think you were there when it happened. Some guy flashback a spell with Jace, taps the mana for it. I'm like, cool, so you're casting? And he's like, no, I'm going to do it in my second main phase. And I'm like, well, why have you paid for the spell now? Like, what are you doing? It turns out he wasn't aware how flashback worked, and
Also wasn't aware how mana worked, maybe.
don't be mean.
Okay, so Juzza has let the Nantuko Hustai, and now
Has a Zulaport
now
Cutthroat,
he's-
and he hits it.
he has hit Husk Cutthroat and
We're
Scuba.
going to a game 2. One in style, having all 3 visionaries in your opening hand. I mean, maybe 3 visionaries is the way to go. Bounce it, build your own divination, just get in there. From Tyler's side again, we've got 1 Flaying Tendrils, 2 Dispel, 1 Negate, 2 Tasiga, 1 Duress, 2 Infinite Obliteration, Prerogative of Nixilis, Self-Inflicted Wound, 2 Mentor, and 1 Hallowed Moonlight.
Alright, on Jazz's side, we have 3 Anafenza, 4 Arishan Cleric,
Ready for
probably
the
not
red
coming
deck.
in.
I think bring them in, right?
Just to gain life so you can start aliening things? Yeah, no, I don't think so. We do have 1 Fleshbag Marauder, which I'll be interested to see when that comes in, and 1 Merciless Execution.
I absolutely think they'll be coming in just to take care of the hexproof guys.
They do seem pretty good against Dragon Lord Ojutai, which Tyler has 4 in his deck.
Tyler has mentioned that he's bringing in the mentors just to try and counter that a little bit because Justin is playing 2 edict effects. I can also see Tyler bringing in 2 dispels and a negate, Duress obviously, Infinite Obliteration, and Hallowed Moonlight. Whether or not he brings in anything else like an Obnixilis or some Flaying Tendrils, I'll be interested to see.
I'd definitely be interested in bringing in Flame Tendrils, just because of the Exile clause. And because it's an effect across the turn, so you cast it for 3 mana, and then anything else you kill with your other kill spells is exiled as well. Jazzer also has 1 spell and 2 duress. They'll definitely come in. He's got 2 murderous card, they're probably not, and then the Calatus, which seems a little bit too expensive for just a beater.
It'd be interesting to see if Justin brings the Anafences in on the draw. So Rob brought them in on the play, which is understandable. On the draw, I don't think they're as effective. From looking at his deck with his Teal, know that Tyler's only playing 1 Haven, so the exile interaction isn't super amazing. He has no ability to bring back Jace. So the exile fact isn't much. Bringing the beats, however, entirely a good idea.
It is pretty powerful to play 4/4 on turn 3.
But pumping your guys, making your visionaries like 2/2s, getting some stuff out of Flaying Tendrils range, for example. There's a lot of additives. It's just whether he wants to bring it in when he's already at a disadvantage. So per a Facebook status, Chester Swords has gone from losing the first round of GP Mexico to going 8-1. Time for him to top 8 another GP. Ryan Dare has just left us a kind comment that there's a bit of lag in translation with the coverage. Ryan, it's nice to hear from you as always. Stay happy. Guys are drawing their cards. Tyler has an Infinite Obliteration in his opening hand, some lands. Let's see if he's got enough black sources to cast them. Other than that, he's got a Jace. He's got some other stuff. It looks pretty sweet. Can't see much of Justin's.
Yeah, Tyler had a Hallowed Moonlight as well.
Yeah. So Tyler only has like 2 lands. So he can cast the Jace. Can't do much
I think
else.
that's got to be a keep. With Jace to stitch it together.
I don't know. On the play, it's a bit sketch. Oh, he has a Haven as well. Yeah. So Tyler looks like he's keeping. Justin's got some lands and some coloured spells.
Interestingly, not playing Devoid spells evidently.
He has a Catacomb Sister. It is entirely possible.
That is true. Oh, okay, Juz is going for a mulligan there.
Windswept Teeth didn't quite get him there. Thanks, Tyler. You're not being very helpful right now. All right, that's a Duressa Hallowed Moonlight, Infinite Obliteration, Jace, and some lands.
Seems fine.
Duress and Infinite Obliteration are a pretty sweet combo, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he has that many black sources, so he's not gonna get the turn 1 Duress. I don't know if he wants the... It's a pretty awkward setup with the Duress, the Jace, and the Obliteration. In an ideal world, you'd have all your colours on turn 1, 2, and 3. Just go Swamp into Island, into Sunken Hollow, but sometimes, it just doesn't go your way. Can't draw perfectly all the time.
Okay, 6 of the best.
And 6 of the blurriest.
Quite a few lands.
That is a scry. I think that's a husk on top.
And if he's scrying, that's a key. That's a Zulaport Cutthroat he's looking at.
And it's
Yeah,
going
pushing
to
it to the bottom.
That's
So-
a Prairie Stream, Plains, Husk, Duress, Polluted Delta, and an Unknown.
And he is playing the nice Duress, which is very
He
important.
is. I mean, that's something we can say about Justin's deck. It is very nicely put together. I don't like him going to 29 life that much though. that was a little bit cheaty. Looks like Tyler is fetching in Justin's main phase to save some time. It's very courteous of him.
Yeah, good to see the players
It's,
playing as quickly as possible, even in the untimed rounds.
I mean, even in Tyler's sideboard, there's not much he can do for, single white or single blue. He doesn't even play a plane, so what can he do with single blue? Dispel. And not very effective on turn 1. Duress? Yeah, there we go. So here we see most likely the Infinite Obliteration taken, unless Justin has another Duress in his hand. He's already picked the Infinite Obliteration, he's just writing the hand down. And if I have to say Obliteration one more time, well, let's just hope I say it properly.
And I think as well this is the turn 1 Duress to clear the way for turn 2 Jace.
Tyler doesn't have much going on. I mean, it was a perfect setup until it was interrupted. We've got a reader.
Okay, I thought
he'd picked it.
he picked it.
Yeah, he
but
tapped it.
It looks like he's
Reading.
just not sure quite what that code.
I'd take the Jace in this situation.
Yeah. I'd put the cheat count at 1.
Judge.
Yeah, and he does take the Obliteration.
Funnily enough, when I said judge, the head judge looked up and just wondered if we needed anything. No, it's all fine. I'm just working out how to cheat next time I'm here, so.
Drew a land.
Justin goes for his own turn 2 Jace. It's a very nice delta.
It is. And the foil unhinged lands. Would you choose foil unhinged or alpha?
That's really interesting. So the one thing that I can say about my mana bases is, so today I played Esper Dragons. All of my battle lands were expeditions,
Sure.
so I was more than happy to be playing full art lands. If I can get most of my lands, say 90% of my mana base, to be full art, I will. And I will enjoy unhinged lands, in that case, alpha, beta.
I think it's old school cool for me.
That
really.
recently came into account, so I've got some Judge Foil Wastelands for a Legacy Lands deck, right? And I'm like, do I upgrade to the Expedition ones? Just rolling out real first world problems here.
Pretty much, yeah.
And nothing else in that deck is full art, so we're sticking to the Judge Foils.
Okay.
Also a good choice for my bank account, so...
Tyler firing back his own Duress. And missing. But again, that is sort of
It's to be expected.
It's sort of one of those awkward situations where he burned a card and didn't get anything,
But you
at
are
the same time,
relieved.
he knows that he doesn't have company.
So, I mean, if I were Justin, I'd be looking to deal with this Jace as early as possible. Tyler still hasn't found his second black source. He's probably going to cycle a Hallowed Moonlight wherever possible, but it doesn't look like he's got a white source either. So Tyler's very strapped for mana here. I can see Justin punishing him for this. Tyler only has access to a negate at the moment, but you know he's been doing well for the amount of mana he's got.
Justin looting into another husk, discarding the first one, and then Murderous cutting the Jace, which gets negated.
You have to at that point. I mean, you don't have much going for you, but even so, I mean, Jace is going to loot once more, and he's going to turn into a bit of a flashbacking beast, and I'd rather just have a looter right now in Tyler's position. You're looting away Urgitai because you cannot cast it. That is not a good place to be.
It's not, but he does have the Haven if he does draw the lands to get out of this. It's not the worst. Flashbacking Duress just to try and cast some kind of
got
interactive
nothing.
spell.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin did see 2 new cards, so...
I think Tyler's a little desperate at this point. He has hit his land, which is good. I don't see much positive coming out of that.
I mean, it's not all gravy for Justin over here, though.
No, he hasn't got much in hand either. But considering Tyler kept his 7, and Justin went to 6.
That's very true.
If I would have a choice of any card in Magic, it looks like a promo Terminate, but I doubt Justin's playing that.
No, I don't think that one's legal in the format. It's another
Okay,
Duress.
I was close.
Did he just... I think he just drew a company without a green source.
Oh, that's super awkward and unfortunate.
Green source one time off the top.
That's
No, I
another
believe
company.
it was a second company.
Now I can flashback company. Attack with the cutthroat. Sorry, the Nantuko Husk and send a message.
It's true, it's not about dealing damage, it's about sending a message.
So here's a question. Do you think Tyler is at the point where he's about to cycle? That just answered my question right there. He has cycled Hallowed Moonlight.
I think he has to.
Yeah. And the Duress misses, but...
It's an interesting question of whether Justin could have just gone plus with Jace and try and get to ultimate.
Just
whether
emblem him.
Yeah, whether that's a real line to victory because his game is sort of played out awkwardly.
I think at some point Tyler is going to have an answer for Jace. I don't think you can rely on that. I don't know if I would have if I liked Duressing then because Justin isn't really protecting much.
Yeah.
Tyler looks to have drawn a Shambling Vent. This just in from Ryan Dare again. I tried to watch Tyler playing, but I match lost him for slow play 20 seconds in. Some words of wisdom from an L3.
Tyler's just tapped out to play Dragon Lord Urgitai. It looks pretty great here.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. That's something great about Esper Dragons. You slam a dragon, you're back in the game, kind of.
It does seem like Tyler has pulled through.
The lights have just been dimmed.
It's mood lighting.
It's mood lighting, setting the mood for this very interesting game. Jace ticks up on nothing in particular. It's no legal targets. Got let out the hard way. Tried to take up Jason and Gideon the first time I played it.
Yeah,
Doesn't work like that.
That's not how that works.
So read the cards, Jess. It's a good place to start. Second Husk and hope for no Bile Blight. Tyler looks at his hand like he can respond while he's tapped out. Slaughter packed it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm expecting an attack from Ojitai here.
Do you kill the Jace or do you attack face?
I think that depends on what I just drew, and I'm not quite sure what Tyler draws.
I think he has lands.
If it's double
Yeah,
lands,
it's double land.
You
have to go face, right?
Yeah.
Just had the game score updated. Justin is indeed up again.
Okay, Tyler flashbacking a duress before doing anything else. We do have the alien hand.
It can be cast.
He can cast it, and
Interestingly, Tyler takes a Coco. I think it's the best choice, but
okay.
oh, he
so
kills.
He's killed the Jace.
Yeah, and I guess he's just expecting Jace to die here, like his own Jace.
If he does have just lands,
Yeah,
then
so it's another
definitely
land.
possible. It sort of depends. Oh, okay. The Haruspex is bad for Tyler there because he could hope that Justin respected the Shambling Vents, like Shambling Vents removal spell, just to kill things. But now, because Justin gets to draw a card if one of the Husks dies, yeah.
I mean, the unblocked one, the blocked one just gets sacked to the unblocked one anyway. Since it'd probably die
With
to...
Shambling Vents.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just whether you respect removal spell, like a ultimate price or something like that.
I don't think you can at this point. He's got one card in hand. You've seen his hand multiple times.
He's going to activate though.
If you sack it, Tyler gains no life.
Yep.
Jace takes even more damage. Justin's still having Dispel in hand.
That's very true.
He's less afraid of
Yeah,
it.
see, that's the interesting thing there. Sacking the Haruspex to the blocked one
Oh,
to kill his land and kill Jace.
He has another
Because
Shambling Vent.
And I think that's all because he does have the Dispel in hand, because obviously he gets massively blown out in that spot with...
If there's just an ultimate price or something like that.
yeah.
It's hard to believe that Justin doesn't just have perfect information at this point, the amount of times he stripped his hand, but...
Yeah, there's always 1 to 2 cards that are unknown. Oh, that's an awkward anticipate for Tyler.
What is it?
Dispel, Dragonlord, Ojitai, and Land.
Takes the Dispel. Can't see another Ojitai being... Can't see another Ojitai being very useful. Can't see the land being very useful.
Pseudo-vigilance.
I don't know. I think that whilst Tyler isn't in a great position here, Justin's not really punishing him for that.
I think
so.
Tyler's in a great position at
Do
this
you
point.
really? Oh, Justin's on 13. Sure, I can see that. I just like control better when you've got 15 cards in hand ready to move to discard, and you've got things piling.
Okay, so Tyler trading Shambling Vents for a Husk and gaining 2 life in the process. It's not
Tyler going from something to 23. Is he on 21? I think we should get that.
Yeah.
Justin redeploys a Jace. It's his last one died.
Waiting for the upkeep.
Tyler is actually on 22. I did not expect that.
He's gained a bit of life from the
Yeah.
shambling vents. The classic upkeep fetch, which says I've got an instant in hand.
Or I'm bluffing an instant.
Sure.
Anticipates it to 3 lands. I'm not really sure how many Tyler's got that he hasn't just shoved to the bottom here. Which land do you take? Probably not a fetch. Takes the fetch anyway.
I don't think it really matters, to be
No,
honest.
I think Tyler's just put enough fetches at the bottom that you don't want to be shuffling them back into the main fold of the deck. But that's a real... It's a technicality. He might just leave the fetch there uncracked. Looks like we'll be heading into a game 3, but I might be speaking too soon.
Jazz is just in that awkward position where Tyler doesn't have all that much left. He has a couple of spells, and that's about it.
He just drew a cutthroat.
He has a dragon, which is going to kill you in a couple of turns.
Pretty big dragon.
Yeah.
What has Tyler got in hand? Is it going to dispel?
Hold on. Does he still have the cut in his graveyard?
Tyler or Juzza?
Juzza. The one that he used to kill the Jace a very long time ago. If that's still in his graveyard,
That looks to be it there.
he could... I would be surprised if he doesn't go for that. It's not going to work out because Tyler has multiple dispels.
Does he? Isn't it just a dispel and a scorn? I mean, like, it's the same thing, but... And then we have it. We have a Canopy Vista coming.
Ooh, okay.
Does that change anything? I don't know. Justin might try and flashback Coco holding up blue for dispel. Tyler probably won't let that resolve. It's too much. But I think Justin has to go for it at this life point.
Yeah, he has to go for something. I assume Coco's actually better now that you have the green mana, just because you can hit the Reflector Mage or Sidisi's Faithful to get a similar effect to your Metis Cut.
He's going to attempt to cast it. Tyler will dispel. Justin will dispel.
And Tyler will dispel
Spell back.
again. Yep. Saving the
Good
Silumgar
news
Scorn.
is there's another Coco in there. Bad news is he probably can't cast it. Yeah. Justin's on a 2-turn clock here, and Tyler's not dying very quickly.
See, I think this fetch is a bit interesting.
It is. Like I said, he has multiple lands at the bottom that he probably does not want to draw here.
Yeah, because he's just removed one land to shuffle 2 more back into
It's about
drawable
5,
cards.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
see
at
if he
least
draws
2
a
more
land.
off the last.
Do you think he'll draw a land?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
The math
4,
suggests
5,
he
6.
will.
Straight up face. And just play a Jace. Just to protect against Edict effect, I think. If he gets to untap with that Ojutai one more time, he probably has this locked away.
Yeah.
Husk getting in there.
Dealing some minor damage. So looking forward to the finals, which deck do you think is better positioned to beat Gary Wong's blue-red prowess deck? Or do you think the blue-red prowess deck just has some dominance over both of these decks? considering he is in top seed, he will be on. He's guaranteed to be on the play in game 1.
It's an interesting question.
Justin's scooping them up. We're going to game 3 here.
Yeah, Tyler showing him the extra counter spell for the Murderers Cup. In terms of the grand final, I think both of these decks are reasonably slow. Justin's deck is much better at clogging up the ground, but Tyler definitely has more answers. So, without being very familiar with the blue-red deck, I'm not too sure who would be more favoured there.
So let me ask you this. With 4 Irish and Cleric in Justin's sideboard, how does that change your answer? Looks like the guys are shuffling up and ready to go into game 3. So Tyler 1, Justin 1. It'll be an intense game 3. Justin's back on the play. Depends how their mulligans go, but should be a pretty good game 3.
That does seem to be the story of this matchup from what we've seen so far, is the deck that mulligans struggles.
On the flip side, we have a game 3, which is something we haven't had in a while.
That's very true. It also seemed to be a combination that Juzzer mulliganed and then didn't hit an Elvish Visionary or any of the sort of cycling creatures.
Can we really do that over 2 games? The math suggests we need a little bit more than that, Daniel. Let's see if it happens in this game. We'll pull some good data from this.
Turn 1 Evolving Wilds. Often the best start for...
I mean, you're not going to be doing much else on turn 1. Sorry. You can be holding up Dispel.
I mean, you can play a Sidisi's Faithful. Not in this matchup, but it's
You're
very
playing
real
like
against
4
the red
mutagenic
decks.
growth to go with that.
It's very real against the red
Yeah,
decks.
that's fair enough. Tyler playing the reddest deck possible.
That is true.
Such a red mage, that little kid.
No, but Evolving Wilds is often your best
Yeah,
turn
absolutely.
1 land, just
Absolutely.
because it sets up the rest of your hand so well.
I mean, not only does it get it gets a basic, it means that your fetch in 2 lands time hopefully is getting you the dual land you need. Hopefully Justin won't be stranded on green sources this time. We'll be able to cast the Cocos. Just try and get ahead.
I think he really would have taken the game very far out of reach if he had that green source.
Tyler didn't have much.
No.
So Justin goes for the duress. And I think, so Ugin and Cut. Which would you take here?
Partially depends on my hand, but I am probably taking Cut
Yeah.
and saying that Ugin is in a lot of turns time. I'll either find another duress, flashback this one,
Yep.
you know.
I agree. Justin has a good compilation of 2 duress and the ability to flash it back with Jace. Does he have a Jace in hand?
I'm not sure, because I was thinking that is a very big difference for this game
Yeah.
in terms of turn 1 tapped swamp essentially into turn 2 duress rather than turn 1 duress into turn 2 Jace.
Yeah. So he does take the cut. I think it's a fine choice. I mean, Tyler's hand is very dry, and I don't think he was happy keeping that 7. I don't think he felt he could go any lower. He's going to be making his land drops and just hoping the game goes long and favors him.
Yeah, he's really just relying on playing a turn 5 Ojutai and hoping that kind of carries him. Interestingly, Justin here just playing lands, leaving them uncracked.
Is he hoping to make land drops, you think? Because I think that's a plains I see in there. No, it's a polluted delta.
Just had nothing to cast.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. I think Tyler just takes the Coco here.
So we do have multiple cuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
we
he
saw
brought them
multiple
in.
last turn, last game, but
I think Tyler just has to take the collected company here. Justin's hand is 2 removal spells and And rally the ancestors. There's nothing to rally at the moment. I don't think Justin's hand is unfortunately it's not the greatest. Hopefully he can.
Yeah, I think that's part of the issue with bringing in multiple cuts is sometimes you're just going to draw these hands that don't do anything. Like, cut is very good if you can cast a creature and it in one turn, but at the same time you don't really want to exile a lot of things that end up in your graveyard.
I think Justin kept his hand riding a lot on the fact that he had the collected company and had the lands to cast it. I think he was hoping Tyler didn't draw one of his 3 Jurassics. It's political, but company off the top. Let's see if this happens.
Post sideboard though, Tyler has so many answers to that company. Keeping a hand that has nothing and a company and hoping it gets there seems really risky.
Could you mulligan knowing this mana, this deck has such a sketchy mana base, and knowing that you had almost perfect mana there?
I think I would have mulliganed the hand. I want to get off to a faster start and do a bit more.
Like turn 1 Sidisi's Faithful? Justin went back to 28. And Daniel giving me a death stare. Justin making land drops. This is...
Yeah, I feel like the land go favours the control deck with
26 lands.
With dig through times and huge dragons was what I was thinking, but having more lands in your deck probably makes it more likely you'll hit your land drops.
It's always a sad time where you look down and you're like, oh, control deck has less lands than I do.
I think that's sad for both people.
I played against a red deck guy in round 6 today. I looked down and I had like 4 lands on Esper Dragons, and this red guy's got like 7 lands, and I'm like, Knight of the White Orchid, please. Didn't come, wasn't playing them.
But at the same time, at least you know that he's drawn that many lands and they weren't spells.
Yeah. Interestingly, like he was flashing Colligan's Command and Gomag Angler.
Oh.
4 mana collected company, punishing Tyler for tapping out there. Tyler doesn't look like he had much of an answer to it anyway.
This is a very important company. If this hits well, then...
Eiley and Nantuka Husk. How would you put that on a scale of 1 to 5 on hitting well? Or 1 to 6 as company would have it.
It's okay. You didn't hit the classic 1 creature company, which feels terrible.
Don't you love it when it's 1 Sidisi's Faithful?
But... it sort of depends on what Justin has in hand. If he has more creatures, then... For example, if he could now play a Catacomb Sifter, he could swing with both creatures and get in some damage.
Yeah. I don't think that happened.
Unfortunately, it looks like Justin didn't have much of a follow-up there.
If Justin can gain some life, he can use Eiley's second ability. I mean, it's very far off, but...
I think it's going to be difficult for him to gain life when he's taking like 5 a turn.
Tyler can't really attack right now either. Justin's just got 2 cuts in his hand and the ability to cast them.
But Tyler has a second Dragon Lord in hand, so I'm not sure that he's...
2 Dragon Lords, 2 Murderous cuts. Just to note, Tyler's 2 lands off just slamming Ugin here, but he has now drawn an Infinite Obliteration, if I'm seeing this correctly.
Yes, I believe he does have...
What? No, so in this case, do you name Nantuka Husk as you suggested before? Oh, he's just digging, sure. Or would you name Zulaport Cutthroat?
It's interesting. I don't know how scared I am of a Cutthroat in this spot, because we've seen 2 companies. So there's only 2 more, and if my opponent... Like, if I have a dragon down already, And if I can find ways to protect it and get it through, I understand that the cutthroat is pretty central to Justin's game plan, but him spending 2 mana to play a 1/1 doesn't seem that threatening. But it's very true that if you name Nantuko Husk at this point,
You should have a removal
That-
spell in hand to go with it, get it into the graveyard and exile it.
well, that's the issue. You
Need a bit of a combo.
pretty much.
Yes, I mean this is without a doubt the most interesting game 3 we've had thus far.
That's not saying a huge amount.
I'll take that back. It is one of the most interesting games we've had on coverage. Both players are not in a great position. Tyler looks like he's in a better position with this hulking dragon, and he can draw out of it.
But it does seem like Justin is so close.
Oh, Tyler's got a dispel, which has to help. I guess he's bluffing not having it since he didn't attack with Ojutai, trying to protect it.
Well, he did duress and see both cards, so he knows that Justin can go for a double cut.
But he's got a
Dispel.
second Dragon Lord anyway.
No.
So. Duress? Cut? Cut. Most likely cut.
Yep. I think he's just deciding how many he wants to delve versus.
Well, it depends
how
on
much
what he's got
mana
in
he wants to
hand.
pay.
He's just delving 4 lands here. And he's just letting it die.
Lets it die, yeah.
That's interesting.
I like it when you have the second one in hand.
Sure, but you could get him to use the second one. The second cut, and not have many answers left for the second Ojutai. Just have some guaranteed protection without you holding something up the entire time. Tyler's in no rush to cast that Infinite Obliteration. I think he's in a comfortable position, or he feels that he is, which says a lot. Justin's scrambling to get a hand together.
I just think it's also quite random what you name with Infinite Obliteration here, because, as I said before, I'm not sure how good the Cutthroat is.
Yeah.
And naming a husk when there's already one on the battlefield, very awkward. So you're sort of naming cards in Justin's deck, which is the classic reason that type of effect isn't all that good.
We have something pretty sweet lined up here. So he's just played a Grim Harry Specs, which is a pretty good draw. He has the Sack Outlet, and of course Eiley. Hopefully he can draw out of this rut he's kind of in.
Yes.
I don't know, I always like to see the underdog just like pull through.
You like to see someone grind through.
I do like to see good games of Magic. It's a particular interest of mine. Tyler has the opportunity to play Ugin this turn. But he'll attack first.
And here we have Justin lining up another cut, leaving up the blue mana for Dispel here. I'm not sure whether he actually has the Dispel, though. It looks like Tyler has
Scorn and Dispel as well.
two counter spells. So Justin hasn't tried to counter, so...
That's the downside of only having one Dispel. If you do draw it, you really have to pick your places. And I guess Ojutai isn't one of those places. Tyler's either picked up a Negate or a Duress here, and I think any of those are pretty good in this position. He's on 13, but I don't think that's any problem.
Sort of interesting that he chose to use the Scorn there,
Yeah.
rather than the Dispel.
The Dispel. I think I don't know. Is he planning on tapping out? Is that maybe a consideration? takes the rally. Yeah, so Justin's hand is torn to shreds at this point, and he's relying on just hard damage that he's got on board. He's got 2, 4, 6, 7 points of damage. So he's got a two-turn clock. Tyler's got a 2-turn clock.
But now that rally's hit the graveyard, the Ugin gets a lot better.
Yeah.
So.
I think Justin's drawn a cutthroat. Then again, I always think that. No, he actually did this time.
There we go.
So you can't dispel that. You can't infinite obliterate that at infinite speed, and you can't do anything with Ugin to do that. So yeah, I think Tyler should have definitely dispelled it. Be interesting to see if he records that as a misplay, or if he genuinely thinks that was the correct lane.
Yeah, I think if you're not going to tap down to cast something... Oh, okay, I see. Alright.
I don't see that making much of a difference, to be honest.
Activating...
I suppose you can... I'm not saying
if
it.
you're not going to tap down for like a Painful Truth, but then it has to be sort of Painful Truth plus duress.
So I guess they're just doing the math here.
Yeah, I like blocking the Grim Haruspecs. It's going to get sacrificed.
But it's a matter of what order he sacrifices things in. So if she's choosing to sacrifice the Zulaport Cutthroat here first.
Yeah, to draw a card, I guess.
So he's valuing card draw over life drain.
Yeah. Which I think is fair.
Drew another husk, I
At
believe.
this point.
Does Grim Haruspecs read other creature or just creature?
Yeah, it's
Sure.
other creature.
So he's gonna let Tyler gain the life and just take 5, I guess. 1 point off the cutthroat.
Yeah.
I don't like playing the second cutthroat. Nantuko Husk there.
Why is that?
There's a lot of room for error in it. I think I kind of like holding it back, especially knowing that your opponent can cast an Ugin. Does he take the Ojutai in that case? Yeah, he takes the second Ojutai.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing whether you just play the second one.
So he plays an Ugin here. It looks like he's ticking up. He's going down to down by 3.
Doing some quick math as to whether
Rally will be lethal.
Minusing, and then we're sacking to Ailey, I guess.
You should gain some life, I guess.
Presumably at least one of them.
Well, he can only sack one. It's a paid ability.
So 1 mana each. It's just Ailey would be.
Oh, it's 1 mana each. Sure.
Because
Ailey's not really one of the important combo pieces. Should you rally? I think gaining 4 life here is a little bit more important. That being said, it's still a 2-turn clock for Tyler unless Justin fetches. Yeah, it's an important decision whether he sacks all 3 or whether he just sacks 2. I'd sack 2 and gain some life, but big decision.
just... So if he gains 4 life, he goes to 10, which is a 2-turn clock with Ugin,
So he's chosen to
Going
gain some life.
which I think is better because it's the
Because
extra.
Ugin could kill him next turn with the Ojutai. He draws...
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
Flashbag Marauder.
Tyler's got another Ojutai.
But it can't attack this turn.
It cannot.
So
he's bought himself another turn? Yeah. Man, I love casting Ojutai with no white sources. There we go.
Okay. So. Oh, okay. Where infinite obliteration something.
A bit late
It's
in
the
the. Oh,
other
he's going
husks.
for husks.
Okay.
But no, he gets those out of the graveyard as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So husk be gone.
And I think that
I think
locks
that-
it up,
yeah.
right? With Ailey exiled, there's no other sacrifice outlet.
Let's take a quick look through Justin's list. Sidisi's faithful.
That's very true.
Sidisi's faithful no?
Justin has 2 blue sources because that was the
Yeah.
sort of combo for the blue
Remember,
black
Tyler's
list.
still... Alright, we've got Tyler winning this at 2-1. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back for the grand finals where we've got Tyler Visser versus Gary Wong. We've got Rally versus Blue Red Prowess. Gary's in first seed. He gets to take the play should he choose to.